3v3 possibly being seen as an easier target than, to be fair to them, 5 Fears and Random Tongues, who are stacked with, you know, talent that have been
micro plays that can happen, especially in the middle of these box fights when you got other teams coming in, that can really change the trajectory of how the rest of that match plays out. But
who is it going to be? Will it be Special Forces? Can they redeem themselves from last cycle, but they couldn't or weren't able to get really across the line? Or will it be a complete new team, new faces, new players, Skywalkers into that final set? Dread, I'm really excited to see this. Again, we have some information on Special Forces. We know their cash out control is 53%, so kind of a 50-50. They're actually really good when they have the control, but here again, it's not always as successful. Skywalkers, on the other hand, new faces to us, and I'm very excited to see how this one's going to play out.
yeah, I completely agree, especially since we've got the heavy, medium, light again versus the double light heavy. And both of these heavies here rocking that Winch Claw, which did see a little bit of a nerf coming into this patch. You do get stunned a little bit less now on the initial grab when it grabs you. And also, one thing I like to see that we've only seen a little bit of so far as this fight ends up breaking out, Dome Shields end up going through and huge damage onto Q. He's immediately going to get defib back up, though. Monster Pig is going to take out 1,000,000 right off of that defib, though. Q is going to get the trade onto Yerg, but Nuwak is there to clean it up. And as I was going to say, though, is sometimes when you get winched, that new quick melee system that kind of boops them back a little bit, sometimes that can be used really well against winch dynamic.
Absolutely, and especially now that the melee that every single player has a little bit of a knockback as well, makes it also possible to just like deny a steal. Like, there's so many new things in the new season that a lot of players still need to adapt to, especially all these like tiny changes that can make a defensive part of a cash shot so much more better. But again, it really just comes down also how good Skywalkers are here able to attack this one. They're back into the game. They're gonna have a little bit of a shot here. That RPG is gonna land absolutely perfectly. It's gonna deal a bit of damage, but the healing beam is gonna make it not so successful because right there, Q is back up with his life, same as Emelian. So everybody has a beautiful reset. Look at Monster Pig. He's an invisible on the light, waiting for an opportunity to shine as his other team at New York is in the hotel, waiting to see the opponents, maybe to be a bit of a backflank here. They're all scattered, but this might be exactly what they need. It's in the middle of the open. If you don't know where the opponents are, it's going to be so much more difficult to attack.
Yeah, that it definitely is, and we are already running pretty low on the timer on this box. It got plugged so fast here. Special Force holding onto it pretty well. Skywalkers are going to have to make a move, and looks like they are doing that right now. Goo ends up coming through, and the Dome Shields. Dome Shield's going to be immediately blasted now. It's going to force them to back off of that. Yerg actually is going to get turned on and taken out, though, which puts them in a pretty good spot to try to hop back on this. But look at Monster Pig in such a good position right now to kind of shoot over that Goo and get huge damage in. Getting the double kill, and Nuwak coming in to clean it up. Special Force taking the first box.
What a clean take. Yet again, because it was in the middle and there were so many buildings, so many floors of those buildings, it makes it so much more difficult to actually know where the opponents are. If you don't have a Sona grenade, if you don't have any intel gathering opportunity, because Special Forces, they play slow, they waited, and they just... all they had to do is make sure the opponents do the first move, and then they really come out of the building and become a problem. And that is the key thing, right? Sometimes all you gotta do is hide, wait, you're the defending team, and look at this. He's waiting on the corner. Monster Pig might have a perfect opportunity to run away with a cheeky little kill. He knows these players are low HP, but he's waiting for a cue from the teammates to know that it's really safe to just peek up. And a great position here for a backflank, but also if he dies first, it's gonna be way too far for the teammates to be able to retreat him. So he needs to perfectly time this one. New York, meanwhile, will be taken out. There was a little bit of an execution going on in the building. Maybe a bit too fast for Monster Pig to realize what was happening. But the distance! Look at those shots doing the damage. Might be able to pick up one here, Dread. This still could very much turn around.
Yeah, it definitely could. And Nuwak in a lot of trouble here. He's going to be going down to Q, but now Monster Pig and Yerg are the best one that's alive, and Q is by himself, and they are going to be able to take him out there. And now Special Force are going to be able to move this box again, but that was only for a box fight. But like we talked about in these other 3v3s, these box fights can be pretty important because just the fact of being able to set up on these boxes after you plug them in, it puts a pretty good defender's advantage here, especially onto this box specifically in Skyway here. One of the most notoriously hardest boxes to attack from an offensive point of view there, Diana.
Absolutely, you mentioned it, right? It gives the defenders a little bit of an advantage, but this means you are in the control of the game, you're controlling the cash shot quite well. And Skywalkers, they were faced with a lot of decisions what they need to make. They're still rotating around, but look how consistent information from special forces. They know exactly what the pathing is going to be. They know exactly where to look. Unless there's going to be a gateway, it's going to be so tough for them to actually cross this big hole here. They're going to have to use that jump pad, no more line, and by doing that, they're going to take so much chipping damage. We can see already special forces pulling back a little bit just because they've taken a bit damage, but they know one player still on the other side. As long as they can isolate him, get that kill, it's going to make it so much easier. But unfortunately, Patrick is going to find that first opening kill. York's going to be there with the immediate trade, and that is a great start for both of these two teams, putting themselves in a 2v2, but it is a heavy against a medium and a heavy against the light.
Yeah, and these one-to-one trades work really well in the favor of Skywalkers just because they have that medium and that defib available to really get that player right back in. But Special Force actually playing that really well as well, too. They got that escape gateway up and immediately got that hand res off to turn this back into a 3v3. And the Dome Shield is going to be used by Jurg here. RPG not really able to connect there. He's going to have to back up just a little bit. Million taking a little bit of damage from, I believe, Monster Pig there. He's also going to have to back up just a little bit, but not a lot of time left on this point. Special Forces hiding below it. Now they do have that KS to drop it. And now the escape gateway end up going through, retaking this high ground as the rest of Skywalkers are trying to fight through this stairway, trying to make their way up and almost picking Petrick there. They finally end up finding him. And they're going to try to hop on this point here, but there's not a lot of time on it. Jurg, the winch just barely not connecting. Monster Pig, last one left alive, finding it on cue. Special Forces taking this one and taking a spot in the finale.
They couldn't do it last time, but this time they were successful. A clean redemption, I may say so. They find themselves in the first 3v3, and they're not gonna find themselves repeating it over and over again. A ticket to the third stage has been granted, and it's theirs to take. What an absolutely wonderful play to do. Again, it showcases a lot of experience. It showcases just what this team is capable of. Jerry, let's bring you back in here. Skywalkers, there was a lot of potential, but Special Forces, they made it seem very easy.
Well, you can see the control that Special Force had over every single engagement. This is a map that lets you do that lets your lights shine. Monster Pig and Nuok did a fantastic job keeping Skywalkers under wraps. Skywalkers always had to play into Special Forces setup from start to finish. And we finally see Special Force break into that top four, like you said. A second time of asking in terms of the cycles, and they've done it. But
A bit of a chill pill before they got to play again.
the two teams that made it to the very end of the first bracket, our stage one, have now also made it to